and we'll begin today's press conference with Sky Sports News and Gail Davis, wherever Gail is.
Afternoon, Graham.
Afternoon.
Shall we start with a little bit of team news and Aspilicueta, how's he?
He's okay. As okay as you can be when you've had that type of concussion. But he's around the place, around the boys. Great to see him. Obviously he won't be available for the weekend. We need to go through the right protocols, but good news is he's doing well.
And how's the rest of the squad looking? Any other to report? And those that have managed workloads that weren't injured, might they be back and okay?
Yeah, they will. Yeah, so we've had a good week's training. Everybody's available pretty much, apart from N'Golo and Christian Pulisic, that are making progress, that are joining the warm up at the moment, and they'll be more integrated next week. So that's good.
Yeah. How tough has this week been for you, Graham, in your squad, and how many home truths have you had to tell to some of them, or have they told some to you?
No, it's been it's always tough when you lose, and certainly when you lose at home. Very tough. That's normal. The response from the players has been really good. Of course, we've had conversations and one-to-ones, and we've talked, and we try to put things into perspective as well, because that's also important. But at the same time, yeah, it's been a tough week.
What perspective is that?
Well, you have to take two positions, which is it's not good to lose at home, and results haven't been good enough for us, and it's important to acknowledge that. At the same time, you've got to look at the third game in the week, where we're at as a squad, what we've had to endure this season, and why we are where we are, which is lots of factors. But at the same time, making sure you analyse the situation correctly and properly, and then demand more and better, because that's what we want.
You just joked about a crisis meeting, and there obviously have been reports this week that you've had a message of support from the board. Have you spoken to them this week, and have they put their support behind you?
Yes, I've spoken to them. Yeah, and it's the same as it's always been. There's always been support. I mean, I've been under pressure here for 4 months from you guys. Don't forget. So, a constant. Have you spoken to the owners, and have you support? So that continues. They've been great. They've been brilliant. I think they also see where we're at the same time, frustrated because the results are where we are, and we have to do better.
And you've obviously delighted that they are going to give you that time and be patient. Winning over the fans is something else. How do you go about doing that to make sure it doesn't become an issue for the owners?
Well, I mean, supporters, rightly so, are upset because we lose at home to Southampton, and supporters care. So when they're upset, they let the feelings known, and we expect that. That's been naive of myself to think that that's not a fair response. I've had a lot of support from the supporters as well. And whilst everyone would agree that we're not happy with the current situation and the current position, there's a lot of people also that recognise where we're at and what's happened and what the challenges have been for us. So in the meantime, I know that I can't do anything now. There's nothing I can say that's going to make the supporters, if they are against us, with us. The solution is you have to win 4 matches.
John Southall, 5 Live.
Hi Graham, just a lot of the fans, how big an issue could that become? Because obviously you need time to build a side, but it's human nature, they want wins straight away.
Well, yeah, some do, and some I think are fair and understand the position. Like I said, if you lose 1-0 at home to Southampton, who are bottom of the league, and you're Chelsea, then you expect fans to be critical and voice their criticism. That's fair. There's no point me saying that that's not right. That's completely okay. And then it's about, okay, but how do you analyse the situation we're in now? How do you analyse what's happened this season? Are the factors that bring us to this point? And then you have to consider those as well. And like I said, you've got to hold the both positions. The results haven't been good enough. 1-0 at home to Southampton isn't good enough. You're entitled to be angry. My sort of response is, I think there are also things that are a contributing factor to that to that result as well.
So what would you say to them now? Would you say, just be patient? It is going to take a while.
No, I wouldn't say anything. Like I said, I'm not here to convince them. My actions have got to convince them. The team has got to convince them. We've got to win football matches because there's nothing I can say.
And how difficult is it, obviously, with the players that have come in? It's going to take time to blend aside, but you'll be the first to know, while you're trying to do that, you have to win games as well.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult is it for you? How tough is it?
Well, it's really tough. Like I said, I think my quote is, it's probably the toughest job in football. That was a few weeks ago. And there are lots of factors for that. And again, if you just take the season, a suboptimal pre-season. Speaking to a couple of the experienced guys, sort of thought it was the worst pre-season they've had for different reasons. It's not to blame anybody for different reasons that happened.
What kind of reasons were they giving for that?
I don't think I want to speak about that. I think it's more just organisationally. It was for different reasons. The tour didn't quite work as well as they'd like, etc., etc. I wasn't there, so I can't say. But that was that's the thing. And there's a manager change. We've had old players that have left, new players come in, manager change. I turn up in the middle of a Champions League, Saturday, Tuesday. We have pretty much the most unprecedented injury situation in that period in the Premier League. I think we played Newcastle before the break. We had no Kepa, no Reece James, no Chilwell, no Cucurella, no Fofana, no Kante, no Sterling, no Loftus-Cheek after 2 minutes, and no Azpilicueta. We lost 1-0. But that was where we were at. World Cup. Then the club invests a lot of money in the squad, which does that to the pressure, does that to the expectation, and does that to the noise. But the players that we've got, they're not 28-year-old, 400 game Premier League players. They're young players that you need to take time to adapt to. And at the same time, the injury situation that we had, we have to try and adapt and get them up to speed to play in the Premier League. That's the position that we've been in. We thought we were making progress, and then we had a first half against Southampton, the third game in a week, returning from a Champions League game that was below par, and then the sky can fall in. That's essentially how I could also say these are some of the facts, inconvenient facts, if you just say, no, he's no use. But that's the situation.
Just ask one more just on Aubameyang. What does the future look like for him, would you say, at the club? Does he have a future at the club?
Yeah, he does. He's competing for a place in the squad. He's had a really good training week, great response from the situation that we've been in, and he's available for selection.
Alex Aljo,
Hi, Graham.
Hi.
Just looking ahead to Sunday, big London derby. What do you want to see from your players? What kind of reaction?
A positive one. We need a strong performance. We need 3 points. We go there, it's a fantastic game. London derby, like you say. I'll miss seeing Antonio. Obviously, I wish him a speedy recovery. But it's a game that we're really looking forward to. The training, like I said, training week has been really good. The response from the players has been really good, so we're looking forward to the game.
Is it true you gave your players a couple of extra days off as well this week, and what was the reasoning behind that?
No, they were scheduled, and after the week we had with the Champions League, it just fitted that they were there. Sometimes you need a couple of days to clear the head and to make sure that the feedback and the planning is correct. So it was already scheduled.
You said earlier you've been under pressure for 4 months now. How do you cope with that pressure, and are you able to block out the noise from outside?
Well, you're asking me the question, but I don't think anybody's really bothered, is the truth, because I'm the manager of Chelsea, and I've been asked for 4 months, so, and the pressure's, it's a two-way thing, isn't it? I've been under pressure for 4 months, so 4 months ago, was I under pressure? I don't know. But as obviously now, when the results are that they are, you accept it, absolutely. Why it's fascinating to see the process play itself out, and like I said, I've sat here for 4 months and answered questions about pressure, time, how much have you spoken with the owners, the same question every week. And I think that's just part of life in Chelsea. And then you have to accept the fact that when the results aren't like they are, then you accept criticism, and that should come, and that's fair. I think the mood in here has always been relatively positive and respectful. So, but it's not to say that it's easy. at all, because your family life suffers, your mental health suffers, your personality, you know, it's hard, but you're not really bothered, really. It's just, that's just how it is.
Martin Tyler, Sky Sports.
Hi Graham, just one about football,
Sure.
which is, what have you been able to do this week on the training ground, and does this involve a change in your setting up the team to improve the goal scoring, which has obviously been a disappointing part of the time you've been here?
Yeah. Well, we've looked at a few things. Obviously, I don't want to articulate it too much because it will give our opponents something maybe to think about. But clearly, like I said, before the Southampton game, I thought we've made some progress in terms of how we were playing. Dortmund, for example, the second half there in particular was probably as well as we played. But the first half against Southampton was not good. But then we've made sort of 6 or 7 changes in the team that can change the fluidity, change the cohesion of the team. It makes it not so easy for the players, which obviously I take responsibility for. I thought the second half we should score, and sometimes there's a bit of luck. But from a training perspective, we've tried to work on being positive, acting well, you know, behaving as a team that understands the responsibility, understands the position we're in, and you know, acts in a way that we should.
Are there too many players afraid to miss at the moment? Is that a pressure being a Chelsea footballer, not just a striker? Anybody, I mean, Fulham I'm going to tonight, they've got 12 different goal scorers in the Premier League. Arsenal got 13. People to be stand up and be counted in that respect. Are you looking for that?
Well, it doesn't matter who scores. The more goal scorers you have in the team, the better it is. As I've said before, I think my job, and we haven't done it as well as we'd like, is for the team to attack well, that chances are created from all over the pitch, and then you can score goals. As it is, we've made steps in terms of how we played. It's still not perfect by any stretch. But whilst you don't score and the XG is this and the reality is this, there's always a debate to be had. But I think my focus has always been how does the team perform better, how does the team attack better, and then I think with the quality of players we have, I think we'll score.
Okay, last question on broadcast, Simon Johnson.
Hey Graham,
Hi.
just following on from Martin actually, during your chats with the players this week and the team, has that been something you've been talking about as a team, sort of how you can score more, and are you particularly frustrated that defensively only Newcastle have scored fewer, conceded fewer, so you know, you get goal scoring right and suddenly it kind of looks better for you?
Yeah, and I think again, if you watch the Dortmund game second half, if you play that game 10 times, I think you score 7 or 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10. It's just we didn't. João Felix hit the bar and has a good chance in the first half as well. So that's positive. So, and again, sometimes you can go through little periods where it just doesn't go. There's lots of things just go against you, and you think, Manek, what's going on here? It seems to have been that way a little bit. But like I said, if we perform to the level we did against Dortmund, and if we perform to the level that we did at the start of the West Ham game, and we keep moving forward, I think we'll score goals because we've got the players that can do it. The quality's there. It's about when you integrate young players and new players into a team, it's not so easy just for everything to click. The most difficult part of the game is the attacking part of the game. So it's no surprise that maybe, you know, you have to work a bit with that. And again, with the situation that we've been in, players coming back from injury, it's to get that fluidity, to get that certainty in your attacking play. You know, it's a process.
Did you talk about it at all though this week, like, as a group?
Yeah, we've spoken about it. I've spoken about it with individuals and not as a group in terms of how to attack against Tottenham. Really, to focus on that.
Sure.
Because the past is the past, and okay, we need to focus on the next game, which is Tottenham. And how can we attack well there against a team that doesn't give much away? Defend with a back five, defend strong, defend deep, press high when they can. So we try to think about that.
Okay, that's it in the broadcast. Cameras are off, please.